Howdy, howdy. Welcome to the new and improved, I guess,
I would hope it's improved.
uh, podcast. We don't have a name for it yet
Yeah.
because we're still figuring out exactly what we want to do with it. So, kind of want to start with just presenting some ideas where we're looking to go with the podcast to you guys.
I'm voting for lefties.
Lefties, it's up there.
Lefty losers.
Double L, just hold the L. Uh, yeah, I mean, I know. We can just get straight into that, like stuff we want to do with the future of the podcast.
Yeah.
A few things we've talked about kind of behind the scenes, just like bringing on guests, other musicians, local or smaller music spotlights.
Yeah, and we want to um play with the guests. Like bring a musical guest and then back them up or they play one of our songs, we play one of their songs.
In theory, I think I want it to be kind of like hot onesy, where like at the very least, we're gonna take some of these musicians and be like, hey, let's pick some songs that might be kind of out of our comfort zone, or like to kind of throw in there as well, maybe some covers or whatnot, and just kind of try and jam as musicians with a whole bunch of different people, from solo artists to just vocalists. We can do guitar. I mean, I don't mind stepping off the drums, bringing in like a full band and whatnot, and like
Yeah.
alternating things.
It just depends on who's going to be there,
Yeah,
cuz we play bass and drums. So I mean, like if they play guitar and sing, that's perfect.
yeah.
Keyboard, whatever.
Keyboard, flute, guitarron, whatever.
Accordion, yeah.
Figure it out. Yeah. And so I think that would be really cool because like we could get these musicians, get them almost like I said out of their comfort zone to do like a an interview like mid song or like in between songs, or like ask questions and have these combos, and then like, oh, that reminds me of this thing. Let me play it for you real quick, and
Right.
we can really kind of expand on the music while being able to get it from like the layman, the anyone who would only understand, like a to like all the way up to experts who would understand every term and colloquialism and number in music. And so like that in theory is cool. The idea of how we're actually gonna do it,
I don't know.
a little bit harder.
I think we're really trying to make it fun more than anything and
Yeah.
odd. We're the oddity, by the way.
Welcome to the new and improved uh podcast.
Podcast.
Oddcast. Just keep it simple, I guess.
Yeah.
The Lodcast. For the losers. I don't know. The lefties.
The
The
lefties.
southpaws. The
Yeah, I don't know.
Now we got a few things on the agenda for the evening. Get into what we've been up to, where we're going, why we've been gone, why there's only two of us here. A few different things this
Yeah.
evening.
We should give a little bit of background since this is a new thing. It's not like really a continuation of the old
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
So if you're just now finding us, we are a band from SoCal. We make original music. We also play as a cover band sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. We do a good mix of both. Leaning a lot more into the originals lately. Currently, like officially a duo. We have a couple of people, really awesome guitarists that have been working with us live and a little behind the scenes and whatnot. So shout out to them for sure.
Yeah, we're
Um,
gonna get more into it of
yeah, I mean, we
what's
just,
happening.
I don't know. We don't want to, obviously, we're not going to throw shade anywhere.
No, I just mean who's been playing with us, how it's been
Yeah, yeah.
going, what we've been up to.
And so, yeah, I mean, just to explain it, a little bit, uh, differences in opinion, wanted to go kind of separate ways. And so, but we were kind of close to having an album done, a couple of them, in fact.
We had songs ready and we were gonna do two EPs, and then it
Yeah.
just was
And so trying to find another person to come in and put their style or their opinions into the music again, seems like we would have to almost go back to square one.
Yeah.
And that's just.
And we know what we like. We know what we want to do, and so we don't want to involve another person who's gonna want to do something different, you know. And
Yeah,
we
yeah.
don't want to spend forever trying to find somebody who also wants to do what we're doing. So that's kind of where we're at. That's why there's no like official guitarist right now that's like
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
band 100%. They're writing the songs with us. They're in the pictures with us. You know, like it's
There've been a few people who have been super awesome, um, and we've been really lucky to work with them, and they've been just like at the drop of a hat, like, yeah, let's go play these shows with you.
yeah,
Um, but almost for our sake, because we've gone through a few different band members now, a little bit on their end, just trying to keep it from, because I don't know, everyone's in 1,000 bands,
yeah. It's like, what is this cheating?
and,
Like,
and no one's faithful.
why are we cheating? Like, I don't know. And
These hoes ain't loyal.
exactly, you can't don't trust a hoe, never trust a hoe, because the hoe don't trust me. They always say,
Yeah,
yeah, always.
always.
But it's so hard to find somebody that's not already in like 7 bands, and I feel like everyone thinks it's so normal. They're like, oh yeah, he's in like 11 different bands, but it's like, why can't we just do this one thing? You know, like
Yeah,
of course your efforts are gonna be, spread thin
yeah, and
if you have a billion things.
it's like I get it. There are kinds of music that you might be interested in that we don't play.
Yeah,
Right? That's totally fine. Side projects, like almost everyone does stuff on the side on their own. Like that's not a big deal.
yeah,
It's just, hey, we're not trying to fight for the attention of like 3 different guitar players
yeah.
and hope that they're going to show up to our gig instead of maybe a gig in a band that they started. And
That they
like,
are more like emotionally invested into,
yeah, yeah.
especially if it's the same exact kind of music. It's like, girl, what are you doing?
I'm putting all their chickens in one basket, eggs in one
Eggs in one
basket.
basket. We're the chickens.
We're the chickens, I guess.
They're
Yeah.
the eggs.
No, and it's just like not. I don't know. We've been through it. What that would be three, at least with me, three
Three
times
million
now.
times. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's been so many duos. It seems like going around as well that have been kind of taken off and really getting popular. From I mean, even
Yeah.
like 21 Pilots.
They were the ones that kind of like
That's what I'm saying. Could have
normalized
really
it.
popped off with it.
21 Pilots, I don't know how, but they found me. It's just bass and drums, and the bass player sings.
Yeah.
I've seen bands recently that, it's just 2 people, and then they use tracks for the bass, or they use tracks for the guitar, or whatever.
I mean, shout out El Segundo.
Yeah, completely
One
tracks.
dude just sings and plays guitar, gets on stage and absolutely rips.
Yeah.
But it just has tracks for bass and background and drums.
It sounds great, and he nails it every time. Like,
Yeah.
you wouldn't even tell. Except, he's the only one there. But,
And...
yeah. So that's what we're not doing tracks, but
no.
we're just not having a third person in the spotlight with us,
Yeah. That's not the plan to do. But honestly, I was looking at like the like drum pads and things just to kind
Click it
of
on.
to have fun with, find
Yeah.
like different stuff with, and so like I don't know. I'm not against it. I think that's where like so we have 2 EPs planned, kind of with 2 different labels, right? They're both cool with that. They want us to do it, and so we're like one of them. We're kind of gonna do more direct, where we're leaning, where we've been feeling like we're going, what feels like the more natural progression from like our last album. But the other one, I think we were gonna try and get a little bit more experimental, a little bit more, I guess, progressive.
Yeah. I mean,
Uh,
it's still very new, and
Yeah,
we
yeah.
haven't really put a lot of work into that yet,
to that one, yeah,
but we have some ideas of like where we want to go.
some different sounds, and so in that case, then we might be using tracks, but
Yeah.
it's a little bit away.
Yeah. But then you would have to be in control of the whole show. Like, you'd have the added stress of like, oh fuck, I forgot to turn this on, or I forgot to, or this is happening, or oh no, someone broke a string and now I had to pause it. Like, I always wonder How does that work? I don't know.
Well, I've been to okay. I did go to one. I remember going to a show, where they used it especially for like the intro, and it was like supposed to be timed, and so like the drummer was the one who was the first person out on stage. He like hits the pad, and like the lights start going, and like there's like an intro, but I guess the other people in the band weren't ready yet, and so it goes through the intro and nothing happens, right? And then the other people like peek out from the side stage. I can like see them from my angle, and they're like, "What?" They're like, "Do it again, do it again, do it again, do it again." He's like, "Okay." He hits it again, and I don't know exactly what happened, but I guess there was still another miscommunication, and so the second time didn't work, and then he just like cancels it in the middle. He's like, the drummer's just like, "Fuck it, we're doing it without it. Come here," and he just like starts waving them out. So yeah, the drummer just stops the intro thing and like waves out these guys, and they come out, and I mean they put on like a solid show. They really do. The show was pretty good, and then they used it like in between, like in the middle of shows, either like as like an intro for things to like start with like a big swell or some sort of like electronic sounds that weren't quite there, or like I do remember him using it to control some of the lights too.
Oh.
And so like he would like it would like make a noise, but it would also every hit it would control some of the lights, and like they would change to different things. He had like one of the octo pads with like 8 different buttons, and so it could have a variety of options. But I was looking at them; they're like cheapest ones that are like solid or like still like $300.
Oh. I thought you were gonna say like $3,000.
No, no, but that's just for the pad. You would still need a like
The plugins and everything.
the computer, the said plugins, and the cables, and the stands, and everything else with it, and
Yeah.
so yeah.
It's expensive.
But there was one smaller one that only had like 4 controllers that had some like built-in sounds. That was only like $150.
Mm.
And part of me thought about that just to like, I don't know, mess around with.
Throw down woo woo woo. Siren noise.
Yeah, something like air horn for no reason.
Yeah.
I start controlling the lights. Oh, one thing I really want to do though, that I'm gonna figure out how to is I'm gonna take LEDs and put them inside my kick drum, and ideally the toms and everything, and either get motion sensors ones so that like every hit they like light up.
Yeah, that's cool.
Or just straight like sound sensing ones.
Oh yeah,
and so
that
like,
would be, I saw this pic on Instagram or something, and it's a bass pick, specifically bass because it's so thick.
Oh.
And it lights up as you play. So if we both have that.
I mean, that'd be kind of cool. I was just like, I want to like think of things that, like what's like the next step for our on stage presence, right? We've been doing extra with like the crowd involvement. We've been doing extra with like movement and different plays. I mean, we had a fucking wardrobe change in the middle of a set.
Yeah, that was fun.
At one point, like.
I like the weird
I do like it. We're doing the most, and like that's awesome. Like, but I'm like, what else can we do? What's next? I think you mentioned like a fog machine recently.
Yeah, I brought it and it didn't work. I think I just didn't understand maybe, or maybe it wasn't full enough.
Oh,
I'm like, does it have to be all the way full? I didn't want to put all of it in there in case it didn't work, and I didn't want to waste it. But maybe it has to be full. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar. My family used to have one because we used to throw like really big Halloween parties. My mom would like we'd black out the garage. We'd take the whole garage, and she would with like whatever was like the cheapest to find, either like wrapping paper or wallpaper or whatever she could find on sale, maybe sometimes even just like trash bags, and just cover the walls in all black.
Oh.
Right in the garage, so the ceiling, but like the floor is usually somewhat in like a black carpet or black mat, so like the entire garage was black, and then decorate it with a bunch of like Halloween stuff, like tables and like different like little things that would like jump out at you, and we'd have like a Halloween party, but like in the garage.
That's so fun.
With a fog machine and the lasers. And I remember for some reason very vividly this speaker that looked like R2-D2.
Oh.
This is the one that we would always use at the block parties.
Not like other girls.
No, very different.
Yeah.
I think that was a neighbor's speaker though.
Yeah, 'cause I feel like you would still have it probably.
Yeah,
maybe.
probably.
Maybe
I would
not.
hope. But
So, speaking of Halloween, we should talk about all the stuff we had going on in October. So
A lot.
just to give like a timeline here. So
Should you pull up the calendar?
yeah, like I can write it on the whiteboard. So, oh god.
We have a...
Go wait, look, yeah.
We got...
This is when the left-handedness
What do we got?
comes out. Okay.
Give me a date.
August. Anthony leaves band. I don't know what, put like the 29th?
I don't know if that's readable. Probably not.
Totally. No, you have to make it way bigger.
Yeah.
Wait, no, the red one. Yeah. Use the little alphabet letters to write it out. Oh my god. That's better. The exact date. Yeah, Anthony leaves. End of August, okay?
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, and we're saying Anthony leaves. The exit happens. We'll just
The
say.
exit happens.
Okay, and then September, our last gig with him was at the House of Blues. That was the end.
What date? I don't remember.
It was the 10th. House of Blues. Hob. Yeah,
I'm gonna go there for a show, like next week sometime. But I'll talk more about that later.
yes. Okay, what happened next? Okay, so we asked my friend Austin to hop in for everything that we had planned.
Everything.
Literally we didn't have, I don't remember what we even did in September. We must have done a couple of things. It's a blur, but October was like insane. Like we were playing like twice every weekend. It was a lot. And we're like, hey, we know that you actually play drums and not really guitar, but can you be our only and lead guitarist for this whole month? And he's like, sure. So yeah, we'll say September. Austin helps. And then October, what did we had something October 1st. Or maybe it wasn't it was October.
We had we had like the 2 podcasts.
We had 2 podcasts. We had DBA. I think that was like the 6th. That was no, it was not the first thing with Austin. No, that was the end of September.
That's
the
right.
Kairos.
Yeah.
Okay, end of September, our first show with Austin, Kairos Core production. I think it was the 29th. How do you remember?
You could like that.
Okay, and then October 6th, DBA with Austin. All these are with Austin, so we don't even have to say that. But we had DBA, and then what else did we have? Did we have something on the 7th?
Yeah, didn't we have one of the podcasts right around the same time we had DBA? Because didn't we go to the podcast, and then like we're like, hey, we're basically gonna be back in this area in a few days.
It's all such a blur. The podcast, I know that the podcast in Anaheim was on the 17th. I remember that.
Okay. Maybe that was next. I think that was next.
Yeah, that feels
when
right.
was the
Oh,
first
no,
one?
the Monster House show on the 6th.
Okay.
And then DBA was on the 7th.
It's a bad M.
I thought that was a B.
Yeah, that's why I said it's a bad M.
The house show. That was really fun. So yeah, that was a double hitter weekend.
Yeah.
And then the next weekend,
Yeah, that was when I think we had...
that was Vail headquarters.
Yeah, and the... no, because that would be the week after. Yeah. But yeah, so like weekly, just going and going. Right.
Yeah.
I'm running out of room, so I'm just going to erase it.
But yeah, it was insane.
Alright. And that's all leading up. We had, what was it, the podcast in Temecula.
Oh yeah,
Then the
that.
podcast in Anaheim, like a week apart.
And then I went out of town and we didn't do anything for a weekend. That was like a break. And then the next weekend, right back into it, we had 3 or 4 things.
Yeah, it was like...
Friday we had private party.
Yeah, we had the party.
And we had somebody else playing with us, filling in
Yeah.
different guitarists because we were like only doing covers.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Saturday we practiced and then
Yeah.
went all the way to Canoga Park, wherever that is.
That week, oh my god.
We were like, oh, it's in LA. It was like 9 hours away.
Shout out to the Tie-Dyes. They were awesome.
Yeah, we met them at DBA earlier in the month.
Earlier in the week
and
or
they're
the
like,
month.
They're
yeah.
like, do you guys want to come play at our album release show? And we're like, sure. Like,
Yeah.
We just really hit it off with them,
Oh,
and it worked out.
Super great guys.
Yeah.
Had a super fun time. We kind of opened for them and then just hung out and listened to their new album. Watched them play.
It was so fun.
Met
It was
everybody.
worth the drive.
Yeah,
It was like 3 hours, but it was worth it.
Especially since I didn't have to drive.
I was the designated driver.
You're the DD.
I didn't get to drink or smoke, but it looked like you guys were having fun.
You normally do, so it's okay.
It's fine.
I never get to drink.
Whatever. You don't like it, so.
I like being drunk. I just don't like the taste of alcohol.
The throwing up.
Yeah.
The aftermath.
No, that's not bueno.
Yeah. It was really fun. The guy from Sweet, the band, Fox on the Run, Ballroom Blitz, hello, was at the party. He was like their neighbor, and he went to the party and played guitar with Tie-Dye.
Yeah.
And we got to like hang out with him for a while.
That dude was nuts. He was super cool.
Yeah, great guitarist, and we each got to have like our own conversations with him. It was so cool. He was a really nice guy.
No, I met a lot of great people there. I would definitely do that again in a heartbeat.
Oh, totally. Yeah, everybody
play
was
with
so
them
cool.
again. That'd be one of the first people I'd like to have as a guest.
Oh, yeah.
Get them out here.
We're going to have to meet halfway or something, because there's no way.
I mean, we went out there to them. I'm sure they might.
I know. They're going to be like, really? For a podcast?
Maybe if this gets shared enough. It's big enough.
Yeah. If this hits 10 million views, then we'll ask Tie-Dye to come do it.
But yeah, we get back at like, I remember you waking me up in the back seat at like, was it like 1 a.m.?
It was like 3.
Okay, it was
like
3.
2:30 because I got home at like 3.
That's fair. Yeah, it was like 2:30. I was trying to be generous. Yeah. And then you the next day.
This was so dumb.
You got what, 1 hour of sleep?
I slept for like 8 minutes. Like I woke up. Me and Austin both had to be at a rehearsal for our work at 8:30 a.m. And it was like an hour drive for me, so I was supposed to like leave at 7:30. I didn't make it. I was like at 45 minutes late. And Austin, of course, was on time, so I just looked like an idiot. I'm like, what's my excuse, you know? I guess I live 30 minutes further.
Austin got to sleep in the car, though.
It's true.
I don't know if he did, because I passed out almost immediately.
He did. He was like on and off sleeping. He kept waking up and be like, oh, sorry. And I'm like, no, it's fine.
Yeah, after a certain point, I'm like, I'm sorry. Good night.
Yeah. So even the whole way home was like insane, and like it took
the fucking drive. Oh my god.
How did we gloss over that?
I blocked it out.
It took years to leave Los Angeles. Like, okay, so we left. There was a truck like blocking us from leaving the cul-de-sac. We couldn't leave.
We started packing everything up at like 11:30.
Yeah.
So that we were out of there by midnight.
Yeah.
There was no later than midnight. I think I still remember seeing like 11:50 something on the clock when we left.
When we were in the car, yeah.
Yeah, somehow to Temecula, in a sense, it took us almost 3 hours.
I don't know why. So, yeah, the truck blocked us. That was the first thing. There was only one way out, too. Like, we just had to wait.
Yeah, it was like a cul-de-sac, and the truck just...
Yeah. We finally got out. And then, like, 30 minutes later, we had to stop for the bathroom.
He just goes, hey, guys, I want to tell you this. I think I gotta pee.
I know. And we're like, why didn't you go in the party?
No, it's fine. I get it, especially at that point.
No,
like,
and you've been drinking, like, you gotta pee every 8 minutes. If you're drinking,
yeah.
You know?
So that wasn't an issue at all. It was just the fact that there were no bathrooms.
In Los Angeles. Because we knew, like, you know, if we were, like, in Temecula or Fallbrook or whatever, we could just go to, like, Winco or whatever and go. But LA is so difficult to use the bathroom. You can't park anywhere. All the bathrooms are locked because they are afraid of homeless people. So I was like, we have really slim chances. And it was already, like, a little bit after midnight. And we're like, okay, let's try to find a place to eat because we're starving. And then you can hopefully go to the bathroom there.
We went to, what? It was McDonald's, Taco Bell. Both of them, the lines were wrapped around the building, like in and out.
Down the street.
Levels of long. Like, I've never even bothered to wait for In and Out that long.
Yeah.
Right? Let alone Taco Bell.
McDonald's, yeah.
McDonald's? No.
No, so we immediately rolled up, we're like, hell no. And then we're like, okay, go knock on the door and ask if you can use the bathroom. They said no.
Yeah.
Rude.
Hard pass.
hard pass, and we're like, okay, let's just try to get further out of Los Angeles. Somehow we went like in a loop. We were like back in the same spot.
Yeah, we were like, okay, let's just drive like 30, 45 minutes, get out of this, what we thought was like close to downtown area. Because like, that's the only reason it could be this busy, right? Look at the GPS. We're like, okay, we're a little like north of downtown, but also a little east. We don't end up really passing through it. All right, let's drive for like 30, 45 minutes, get out of here. You know, make sure. We're like, okay, we're getting there. We're like, we really need to stop. All right, look, somehow still north of LA.
I know, we're not in LA yet. We're like...
We still hadn't reached LA. And we're like, what the okay, whatever. Let's keep driving a little bit longer. Let's get through here. We hit some fucking, like, stop in the road. I mean, it was really windy. So, like, some tree or some, like, car crash or something.
It was completely stopped. Not moving.
Ended the freeway just for, like, at least 30 minutes.
Yeah, we were just, like, literally sitting there, like, not moving at all. Like, where are all these people? It's literally, like, 1:30 or 2 a.m., you know?
Yeah, why?
I think it was, like, 12:30, 1 a.m., yeah.
Why are you all on the freeway?
Yeah, that was weird. And then it just disappeared. And
yeah.
We're like, okay.
Yep. Just started right up, no seeing. The cop drives off, and...
Yeah. So at this point, I think we're, like, close to Pasadena. And Austin's like, okay, I really have to use the bathroom, like, and then we're, like, starving. We're like, we need to eat. What's happening? So we found... We tried to go to some gas stations. We're like, okay, we're just pulling over. Nothing's open. We're going to try to find Carl's Jr.
Took, like, 3 different gas stations to find him one.
Yeah, nobody was letting him go to the bathroom. And as we finally find one, you know, we're waiting outside. We look on our phone. Matthew Perry dies.
We do learn about Matthew Perry's death. I think, wasn't it from the SpongeBob Talking Fish?
Yes.
On TikTok.
In Pasadena gas station.
Yeah.
At 2 a.m.
So that was great. I mean, I have no connection to Friends. I really don't, like, care. But... Bummer, yeah.
Yeah. A weird way to find out.
But it was a really weird way to find out. No.
Yeah, and then so finally, we tried to go to Carl's Jr. This was the longest Carl's Jr. There was nobody in line.
Nobody in line, but it was still somehow another 25 minutes.
Yeah, they didn't have chicken strips, which is the only thing that I want there.
When you ordered the chicken stars, he was like, I guess. What are you, a fucking child?
I was like, sorry, you don't have the strips. Like,
yeah.
That's the only other choice. So,
no,
yeah.
I remember him being like weirdly like demeaning in tone.
Yeah.
And just being like,
it was rude.
I could hear the cringe in his voice.
Yeah, I was like, fucking sorry, like, it's just give. And I started feeling violently sick as soon as we pulled into the drive-thru. I was like, I'm gonna throw up. I hate this. But it eventually went away. So we literally sat at the window with the window rolled up. That's how long it was taking, and it was freezing outside. So we're just sitting there being delusional. Like, is this real? It literally, like, 25 minutes. And then he, like, knocked on the window because we weren't looking anymore. Like, that's how long it took.
Yeah.
Food was cold. You dumped the fries out immediately into the bag.
Yeah.
Everyone's fries.
Yeah. One of them was an accident, but after the accident, I was like, fuck it. Everyone, we're sharing one bag now.
Yeah. Chaos. And then we were on the freeway, still in LA.
Still somehow in LA.
And it was like 2:30?
No.
2. It was like 2.
I mean, it was probably still like 1:45.
It was later.
Somehow still in LA, and then get like all the way through like Riverside, almost to Temecula in like 45 minutes to an hour once we finally...
It just felt like being in hell.
Yeah, we literally felt like we were in the Twilight Zone. Like felt like we were going in circles for hours.
We kind of were, because I was like, we literally passed the same like church or something.
And we're not like, we're just following the GPS.
Yeah.
Not doing anything like, oh, I know a faster route. Actually, I'm smarter than this. No, hey, the freeway's closed. You guys actually have to, like...
No, it was just normal.
It was like, this is the route. You're going to do a loop-de-loop and pull. Like, I don't know.
It was super weird. Eventually... Oh, and then the crazy... You were asleep, you didn't see this, but the insane fog when we got to, Paris.
Yeah.
It was, like, not Scary Farm, but, like, on crack. Like, I couldn't see anything. And then we finally made it to your house... I don't even think we spoke. We just, like, were throwing shit into your porch or whatever.
Yeah. I just, I remember getting kind of jostled awake, seeing it, and being like, oh, cool. At least I remembered the clicker for my apartment complex gate. Where is it?
Yeah.
I have to find it, because I'm waking up still drunk. A bit, at least. Now dazed from sleeping, and then terrified from the Twilight Zone experience.
The literal, exactly.
Get through this, and because we had to bring, luckily it was just breakables. It wasn't my entire kit. But, you know, it's my snare, all my cymbals, my pedals, my sticks, and I often also bring a hi-hat stand because I use a double pedal for a lot of our songs, and I need a hi-hat stand that can rotate the foot to fit the double pedaling better, and that's not always available.
Right.
And so these things, and I'm like, it's 2:30 in the morning, it's freezing. And we're just shoveling shit. Like we look like we're about to rob my apartment. We're just like hoods up, like look terrified.
I didn't even think it was your apartment. I was like, is we throwing this in his neighbor's porch?
No, luckily it was mine. But yeah, just up there. I'm like, I will worry about this in the morning. No one's gonna touch it.
Because it's already the morning.
Like, I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's the end of my night.
Yeah, made it home. I got home at like 3. I don't know how I got home. I blacked out, I think.
Just floored it the entire time to
as fast
80.
As I could. As fast as I could.
Car has child locks on it. But I mean, that is the best thing though about like, if anyone ever tries to pull you over, it'd be like, hey, you were doing like 85 in a... Be like, really? Real quick, let me show you something. You see this? Yeah. It says child lock, speed lock, whatever.
The noise. You guys are always like, what's that noise? And I don't hear it anymore. It makes a noise when it gets to like 80.
Yeah, chime, and then... No, honestly, the noise I talked about is your car, like, rattles.
It sounds like a go-kart.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, that was our night in L.A.
Yeah, and then... What was
the next morning, we had to go to the rehearsal thing. I was super late. It was for like a teacher band, so me and Austin both work at a music school that's run by our friend. It's really small business, and so like the 3 of us are the only teachers, and we were gonna do like a teacher song, and it was gonna be great. We had a couple songs that we learned, and I remember on the way home I had not tried to play them at all yet, and I was just listening to them, being like, "What do I think this is?" You know. So we get there, run through the songs, everything's good, and then we haul ass to the recital that was that same day that we're doing this for, you know. Our students perform, everything's chill. We don't have time to do the teacher songs. Like, we run out of time, and so we just didn't do them. It's like, so we got here at 8:30
for nothing.
For literally nothing. Learned the songs for nothing. The guitar player guy came for nothing. Like, he didn't have students going. He wasn't playing, like, for nothing.
Nothing.
And then the crazy thing, from that place, it was in Old Town Temecula, my mom had to meet me with a truck full of equipment because I couldn't leave it sitting there because people would just take it out. And we switched cars. I had to go to Guitar Center earlier in the day and get a $60 speaker cable. That was fun. And then, yeah, so I made it to Riverside, but before that, I stopped at Popeyes. It was permanently shut down.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, are you kidding? Why is everything terrible? So, yeah, made it to Riverside. They were calling. They were like, where are you? The door's open in like 10 minutes. Where's the PA? And I was like, I'm almost there.
I'll make it eventually.
And we made it. Everybody set it up really fast. It was cool. And then the dust storm. And you also had to work that day.
Yeah. I worked the morning, and then I had to work, I think, the next morning, which is why I left. You're like, I have to stay here this entire thing for the PA.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I like seeing a lot of the other local bands, people that we know, you know, learning new things. But after a bit, I'm like, I'm tired.
Yeah.
I want to go home.
Yeah. It was an insane weekend. The fest was cool.
We're playing there again the 8th,
December
right?
8th. It's an
December
acoustic
8th.
thing. Yeah.
So.
Same venue. It'll be fun.
It'll be a fun one.
It got weird, though, at the end of the fest. Well, the dust storm made everybody have to go inside. There was supposed to be an indoor stage, outdoor stage. So then they had to move it to some other building that was not
big enough
suited for that, you know, because the bigger bands were supposed to be outside, you know. Yeah, so that happened. And then at the end of the night, it was also, like, freezing cold. These random men were there, like, harassing people.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You
No,
guys missed
I don't
it.
remember that. Yeah.
It was right after Austin and Gloria left. There were these guys sitting there, and me and Sarah were like, "What?" And I guess Hannah came up and was like, "You guys should look out or like go inside because these two are like harassing women." And I was like, "Okay, I didn't ask, but."
What is it with Hannah's parties? That's like the one with the dude from Spain. I think it was Spain, right?
Yes.
He fucking...
Ew.
The dude with the sixth sense for
when you guys were gone.
when we would disappear, because like whenever we'd be hanging around, you know, at our merch table or going around the other bands or whatever,
Yeah.
like we would see the guy and he might vaguely come up and pass by and wave a nice friendly-ish hi, creepy
Yeah.
look here and there, but like nothing
Yeah.
outright too bad.
The second you guys walk away, though, he comes up, and I'm suddenly, like, completely alone. And I'm like, oh. He doesn't speak English. I don't speak Spanish. He says, ¿Quieres bailar? I said, no, multiple times. And he's like, no, yeah, we're dancing. And I was like, I have a boyfriend, no. And then it just kept happening, and then suddenly we're dancing, and everyone's like, oh, cool. And I'm like, no, I'm in danger.
You're like, please help me.
It was so bad. And he's trying to dance with me, and it was just awful. It was like the gross prom dancing where you're like touching. I was like, literally get away from me.
Like, please stop.
I know. And then we play, and then he was like in the front row the whole time. And I'm like, you know, whatever. And then at the very end,
his wife and kids show up.
no. After we were playing, he's like, oh, let's take a picture. And I was like, okay. He takes a picture, and then this is the worst part. He like kissed my neck, and I was so sweaty. I was like, don't touch me. I'm like really sweaty. And then he like licked my neck basically, and I was like, ugh. It was like,
fuck it,
no. And then his wife and kids came.
Yeah, I just remember seeing like children running around this like college,
Party.
basically frat party, right? Because full on kegger, like at a certain point. This was really funny. People just like going around, just like alcohol. This is supposed to cost money. Here you go. Hey, the money that was supposed to be split to all the other bands, free beer, right? Different stuff. But like everyone's fucked up, having a good time, and then just fucking like an 8-year-old and like a 4-year-old, just like running through.
Yeah.
Nobody knows who they were. They were the only guess I think that everyone collectively was that they were a neighbor in the neighborhood from said area who just
stopped by.
Stumbled in, yeah.
But yeah, the wife and kids, and then she left without him.
Yeah.
And I was like, you didn't get him, and she didn't seem like upset or anything. I feel like this is normal for them. Maybe I don't know.
That's just their life, I guess. Yeah.
It was insane and
that's always a nuts one.
So yeah, same vibe, but it didn't happen to me. So.
Yeah, no. So that was the end of October. November was looking kind of sparse.
Yeah,
And then now it's
nothing, and now we have something.
Like almost every weekend again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So much for what we had planned to do was kind of sit back and finish up these EPs and rework some stuff.
Do like more videos, more podcasts, more like promotion stuff, but.
Yeah, I mean that's a good segue into like where we're kind of looking to go future wise.
Yeah.
I think we briefly mentioned it before with the two of them, but the one that we're focused on more, it's going to sound like this kind of similar to the single we have out with On Fire.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit heavier, but not like full on metal or anything, right? But a little bit more driving, a little bit punchier. But then we do know that like On and On Again is our most listened to song, so we can't like completely push that stuff, the odd stuff, to the side too much.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, that is kind of our thing. That's like what we like to do.
Yeah.
We've mentioned it before, but for anyone who might not have listened, we have kind of unique-ish, diverse as far as it comes, like musical backgrounds.
Yeah.
Very, very different from one another, and the way we blend them kind of is what we have.
We try to make things sound different. We don't want to have songs that sound really similar. I think creatively too, it's going to be different just being the two of us now.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Because, the way it was going, it was all kind of sounding really
similar.
repetitive, similar. And I think we were like, We don't want to
Yeah.
sound exactly the same every time, you know.
I mean, that's one of the big things for me. I've talked about this before with people, but like ultimately, like my idea of like an ultimate musician, an ultimate band is no matter how you're feeling, you can put on any song by them. Whether you want to party, you want to cry, mosh, angry, whatever. Like you can put on at least a song or an album or whatever by said artist,
Right.
and get through that.
It's important.
Yeah. So for me, that's why I do think we're gonna lean into that, and then like I know. Like writing songs is a little bit different now too. Like we briefly mentioned, but we before we would do a combination of either somebody might write a full demo and then we put our spin on it, each part. Excuse me. We might sit back and like all write our parts together in the same room.
Yeah.
We might like assign a verse or a song or a section to said people, things like that. But now it's kind of either been very, hey, this is a Melanie song, hey, this is one that I've written, or this is one that we like both did.
Yeah.
Like, it seeming a little bit more succinct. Like now too as well, like lyric wise, like vocally, like I feel like I have the room to talk about a little bit more diverse stuff as well. Mm-hmm. Like certain things that I'm more passionate about, that I more want to get into.
Yeah.
I can.
Yeah.
And so that's been cool too, to write certain songs. Like I have those two kind of sitting and waiting that we're kind of ready for.
Yeah.
With this next EP.
For me, I think a big thing is like, not to be crazy, but like a lot of our most popular songs are very bass-driven songs.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I usually start from. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I either start with the singing or with the bass, and then figure out the chords that go along with those things. And those are the ones that do really well, and they have, you know, exciting bass parts. But, you know, when we were getting into that groove of all three of us writing together, I was just going boom, 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 you know, trying to not clash with the really insanely busy guitar, you know. So now that's kind of not something that we have to factor in anymore. It's like, we're going to do our thing and then choose a guitar part that complements both of those, you know, everything, instead of just, this is only a guitar band. You know?
We have those driving songs where it is important to have the flashy guitar solo.
Yeah.
But it's not every song that we've made. I mean, we have multiple, like we're trying to get a little bit into some different time signatures and some.
Yeah.
I mean, we always have like on the first album, like I said, but like the different almost like genres of music. Not even just all like one genre, and then like, oh, you can tell this one's influenced. Like there are clearly like, oh, okay, that's the different song on this EP or the album or whatever. I don't know, usually like every song, every album has like a slow song type thing.
Yeah.
And something along those lines.
Yeah, but that's the plan.
Yeah.
Recording, writing.
Figuring that out.
If we can avoid shows.
I mean, it's a good problem to have. It really is.
Yeah, we love playing and like meeting all these people and getting new opportunities out of it. I mean, before we really struggled to get booked anywhere.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like people were messaging us, "Can you come play this weekend? Can you play tomorrow? Can you?" You know, like,
and it's been like, it's funny the timing of it all. Yeah. That like it's really picking up right when we have somebody leave the band.
But we haven't missed a beat, you know.
Yeah.
Like
figured it out.
And I don't think people have, you know, noticed that much, that because we're not being like, oh, we lost a member, so we haven't had anything going on, or we had to get rid of everything, or we haven't been playing at all.
Yeah, like it is clearly different on stage and everything, right? Like,
but we're still at the same pace.
Yeah, we're still playing the same amount of shows.
Or even more.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's nice. I really enjoy that because, like,
yeah, I
know for me especially, like, I'm dropping everything and making whatever show.
Yeah.
So, back to finding a guitar player that can do that.
Who agrees, because we're both on the same page of, like, this is going to happen no matter what.
We'll figure it out whether we have to do covers until then as well to keep the bills paid, or if tomorrow we get to do nothing but originals, we're gonna
do that.
We're gonna figure it out. Yeah.
So it's hard to find somebody that is 100% on the same page, and if they're not 100% on the same page, it's just not going to work.
Yeah, it really isn't.
So that's why we're like not ready to like bring somebody fully in and have them be like an official member of the band, you know?
Yeah, because it's like we either need the money to pay somebody to be our live or recording or whatever guitar player and have them be able to focus on us professionally and, you know, let them do their own thing,
right?
You know, personally. That, again, totally fine. Or somebody who really fits not only the multiple vibes that we like, the ability to change from solos to soft chords to, singing or vocal, or like all of these different time signatures and different styles and things that we do like to incorporate. Yeah. Or we can stick with the two of us and bring on someone who's an expert in said style, or maybe bring on a keyboard player for a few songs or a stage or a show, or find a few people and make up a horn section, or really anything. It leaves the door wider open. And like, yes, it does make it a little bit harder to really like grind your niche and figure out your style and be like, hey, this is us, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know. These days with everybody either does one album and then completely changes their sound and then does a different album and then completely changes their sound and does a different album, and then or they sound almost exactly the same through their entire discography.
Yeah.
There's almost no in between. I mean, like, yes, obviously there are bands that do break that mold, that you can tell they have a very clear evolution with where their sounds and their influences and yada yada come from. Yeah. But at this day and age, I feel like people really want the quote unquote that like connection, that social media influencer aspect to their musicians.
Yeah.
Right? And they just want to listen to what they like, what they feel like they can support. I've talked about this before. I feel like a lot of people like just listen to music for what feels familiar, what they hear in movies and ads and on the radio.
Yeah. So if a song comes on that you don't know, you're gonna skip it.
Yeah, and you're just gonna skip it, and that's fine. Like that's just the way it is. I'm very similar at times. I have to be in like the right quote unquote mood to listen to new music, to be like, okay, you know, I'm either this is just background noise and I'm getting a vibe for it, or I'm really sitting here and, you know, evaluating, oh, this is, you know, beautiful, oh, I didn't like that part, you know, this goes there, that goes here, like, you know, I would have done this, like, I feel like most people really don't do that.
Yeah.
They don't, and that's fine.
It's fine, but we gotta get it out there somehow.
Yeah.
And make people like it. And that is a lot to ask of somebody who is potentially joining the band, you know, like, we want you to be able to drop everything and do what we want to do if this becomes more serious, but at this point it's not consistent enough to justify that, like somebody professionally coming on full time and, you know, being cool with that. But at the same time, it's too serious for somebody who just wants to be in a band and, you know, play some gigs. You know, it's too much of a commitment for that. Yeah,
like financially it would be a big help to have a third person to break the budget down for different things even easier.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't want to have someone, especially at this point, come in, because if they're paying that much, they need to have an equal voice in said project, an equal, you know, opinion in this thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's the bigger part that we're not quite feeling anymore, at least for now. And I mean, there've been a few people that have kind of given good vibes that like, hey, this definitely could be a thing.
Yeah. But it's like, do you want to legally be a thing?
yeah.
You know, like it's that invested at this point, you know, like.
No, I mean, that was one of the hardest parts about is figuring out legally, like, oh crap, what do we have to do now that we're deciding, you know, to have a different lineup? Do we have everybody sign a new contract? Do we ignore contracts? Do we
start a different bank account, get rid of the other one, you know?
Yeah. and all these different things, and it's like at this point we really need, but also want to focus on this next EP, this next release.
Yeah.
And with how happy we were with On Fire and how well that seems to be doing,
yeah,
we don't want to stop and figure that out. And we're not. I don't know. It feels like we would be cutting ourselves off at this point to do that.
Yeah.
Like shooting ourselves in the foot, really.
Yeah, and like it's so insane that this happened because normally when somebody quits, it's like, oh my god, what are we gonna do? Like this is awful. But now it's like
we just went, fuck it, we'll figure it out.
And that the guitar thing doesn't even feel like a priority at this point. Like,
yeah, to be honest,
I feel like it's not. I'm not bothered.
And it's like I feel bad because like there's one person specifically who it seems like based on some of the questions that they're asking that they're like, hey, so like is it me like do you guys already have another guitar player? Like they seem really interested.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't know how to word it and be like it's not you. It's not personal. It's not anything about your ability.
We like you and you're great, but we're just not into that right now.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like getting rejected. I mean, it's like it's not you, it's me.
I know, but it's not rejection. It's just like we're not taking anybody. So
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
You're not like we're not choosing anybody over anybody else, but you know, it's just a thing, you know. And I think pretty much everybody that we've been playing with understands.
I hope so. I do.
Because I if somebody did that to me, like, I would be annoyed. I'd be like, really? Like, I spent all this time to play with you and learn the songs, and, like, you're gonna, like, not let me in fully.
Yeah, yeah.
I totally get it. Like, I would be really annoyed.
So we try to be, like, really upfront with it. Really, like, hey, this is what's going on. You know, we've mentioned, hey, you know, we are playing with other people at the same time. It's not anything necessarily about your ability, you know, but...
Yeah.
Sometimes, not necessarily saying, like, it is happening, but sometimes people are like, oh, like, why not just choose me? Like, I know I'm good enough.
Yeah, it's like you are. It's just, we know better now, you know, like...
Or any other, like, other reason to feel, or like, oh, well, you know, like you said, like, why would I spend all this time if they're not going to choose me at the end or whatnot? And it's like, I hope they know that it's nothing personal. It really isn't.
I think just we've reached a certain level of maturity too. Of like we don't need
tiredness more than anything.
Exhaustion. Yeah, where it's like we don't need somebody to like go all in, and I'm tired of like trying to make somebody care as much as I do.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
That's tiring, and it's just disappointing in the end when it doesn't work.
No, it's literally like being in a failing relationship. If you're the only one trying, what's the point? You know, no one's happy. Let's move on. Let's go our separate ways and be happy to what we want to do.
Yeah. And it's very emotionally exhausting, too, being like, is this all going to fall apart tomorrow? Tonight?
Yeah,
you know, or is it going to...
No, I've had thoughts about this. I was like, because we've weaned down people from at one point it was technically 5.
Yeah.
Being like at one point, like, fuck, if he leaves, is she done? Is she just going to be like, yeah, I'm going to go do something different now?
Yeah.
Then what do I do? Or, you know, or if, when we were still multiple people, like, if you leave, like, are we going to figure it out? Probably not without her. Like, all this time, this effort.
Yeah.
Do I try and force it myself and become, like, a solo act with it? Or, like...
I know.
It was stressful. I was like... Ugh.
I would literally stay up at night and be like, is he gonna quit? Is she gonna quit? Are we gonna get into a huge fight or something? Or, you know, if so-and-so leaves, the whole thing's falling apart, you know? Like,
yeah.
It's like, that's just exhausting for something that we care so much about. Like, that's why another reason, like, why we don't want to include a third person. Somebody we have to worry about.
Yeah. That I think, for me at least, that's the biggest thing. It's because I do like working with other people, right? I do love getting unique, different takes on, especially music. Just... You're going to get stuff you didn't think about. You didn't come up with it in the moment, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's melody, you know, drums, bass, pattern, whatever. But if someone is giving that, they deserve an equal input as well if they're working that hard. And all of that, the extra that it just entails.
Yeah.
The stress of like, oh fuck, now we have to worry about their schedule now too. Well,
all of their thoughts and feelings, and you know.
Well, we know no matter what, we're gonna make a gig. If it gets offered to us,
we'll be there.
And we're probably going to accept it and we're going to be there, right?
And also, like, if someone called and said you need to go on tour or on a cruise ship or, tomorrow, we'd be like, okay, see you there.
Yeah, figure it out.
But it is asking a lot to expect that from somebody else.
Yeah, when we're not...
Who's not as invested.
Yeah, when we're not making thousands of dollars yet.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's that.
Yeah, I'd still think that would be cool, though. I'd be so down to go on a cruise ship for a few months and go play music around the world. That'd be so sick.
Yeah.
We need to email those people back and be like, hey, please, give me money.
That would be cool. Also, being gone for 6 months, though, is crazy, but, like, I would still do it. It would be crazy.
It would be crazy, but I would still do it. Definitely.
I'm like, would we benefit or would we lose? Because obviously not financially, but, like, being gone from the scene. Because if you think about it, we've only been playing shows since February of this year. And,
And they're going. And that's where it's like, it would be cool, but also like, fuck, we don't want to have to come back and start all over. Like, what if we come back and then the people that we, have known that we're doing shows aren't doing shows anymore? We have to go find new contacts. Yeah.
Things could change fast, and that's the hard part.
Yeah.
And the dilemma. But maybe it would be good. Maybe they'd be like, oh, shoot, they're back. Let's book them every day.
Right.
Something. Okay. Yeah.
I think we're approaching our time here. Anything else we want to get out coming up before we call it a night?
December is looking pretty busy for us. December 8th, Birdcage Comics and Cafe, San Bernardino. A little acoustic set for Frowny Face Records.
They're always great.
Find tickets on Instagram. December 9th and to December 16th, Wild West Social in Winchester. Those are going to be all covers. And December 29th, Vale Lake. Also covers. And I was hoping to put together some kind of a New Year's thing, original music, but haven't thought of that yet, so.
Yeah. Just sold out of t-shirts, so look for some new designs coming soon.
Yeah, open to ideas.
I do know one that we're definitely, I think, going to do. A little callback, maybe with some other stuff coming out. We might try and combine the releases or the announcements.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's about it for this evening.
Yeah, make sure you're following us. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube.
The Oddity Band.
At The Oddity Band. Goodbye.